Listen, I told the boss that you're gonna be a little late.
Come on, Tony, you've seen me drive. I'm never late.
Did you know that McGee installed a crazy surround sound system in here? I came in one night and he was playing video games wearing a cape.
The highly anticipated NCIS reunion between Tony DiNozzo and Ziva David may not happen anytime soon due to the latest casting update for their spin-off series, NCIS, Tony and Ziva. Set to stream on Paramount Plus rather than CBS, the show will follow Tony and Ziva, alongside their daughter Tali, on adventures across Europe. The introduction of a new ensemble cast, including characters like a Russian hacker extraordinaire and a French Interpol liaison, suggests a self-sufficient storyline that decreases the likelihood of reunions with old NCIS teammates. Despite fan hopes, the spin-off seems focused on establishing its own identity separate from the original NCIS series, potentially delaying any reconnections with former colleagues like McGee or Gibbs. Tony and Ziva spin-off's casting update makes the much-awaited NCIS reunion almost impossible. Tony DiNozzo and Ziva David's much-awaited NCIS reunion may not even happen because of NCIS, Tony and Ziva's new casting update. Years after Michael Weatherly and Cote de Pablo exited the famed CBS police procedural, they are slated to come back for a brand new series that will expand that always-evolving franchise. This time, the pair will spearhead their own spin-off, NCIS, Tony and Ziva, which will bring back NCIS' most famous romantic partners on the small screen for an adventure across Europe, alongside their grown-up daughter, Tali. Instead of being on CBS, however, it will stream on Paramount Plus. Plot specifics are still scant at the moment for NCIS, Tony and Ziva. That being said, production for the series has seemingly already started, based on Weatherly's recent update. In any case, this tracks with the previous confirmation that the project will kick off production on location sometime in July. Prior to that, both actors had already returned to the flagship series, with DiNozzo appearing in NCIS Season 21 for Ducky Mallard's tribute. Aside from that, the pair is also hosting Off Duty, an NCIS rewatch podcast. Unfortunately, a reunion with their former MCRT workmates may take longer than initially perceived. Tony and Ziva get their own support team in their NCIS spin-off. NCIS, Tony and Ziva will introduce new characters as the couple's backup. No other actors have been confirmed for NCIS, Tony and Ziva besides Weatherly and De Pablo. The show has yet to even name who will play Tali, the pair's prepubescent daughter who will play a big part in the show as she re-establishes her connection with her mother. That being said, a report has revealed that the former MCRT members will have their own support team during their Europe-set ordeal in the NCIS spin-off. According to the casting update, Tony and Ziva's squad will also include a Russian hacker extraordinaire and a French Interpol liaison. Since production is supposed to already have started, it's safe to say that there are already actors attached to these roles. Despite barely knowing anything about them yet, these character descriptions emphasize NCIS, Tony and Ziva's European backdrop. De Pablo has revealed that she was adamant about the show being set in Europe to separate itself from the flagship series. Because of that, it makes sense in a few ways, but primarily, it allows the offshoot to be different from its parent project. Out of the characters from the core cast, Tony is the only one who is a full American. NCIS spin-off's new ensemble decreases the chances of reuniting Tony and Ziva with their old team. Tony and Ziva won't be motivated to reach out to McGee and others. When the initial details about NCIS, Tony and Ziva were revealed, there was no indication if the couple is running on their own or if they have backup throughout this endeavor. Since not much has been revealed about what life has been like for the family of three after Ziva reunited with Tony and Tali, it's difficult to imagine what kind of dynamic they currently have. For what it's worth, Weatherly did say that trust will be a central theme in NCIS, Tony and Ziva, especially as Tali processes her mom's resurrection. Being in the predicament could have motivated them to get the likes of Tim McGee, Abby Ciuto, and even Leroy Jethro Gibbs involved. Beyond their family life, however, having their own backup decreases their need to reach out to their old team for help. While there is no doubt that Tony and Ziva are both capable agents, it's safe to say that they would be going up against a formidable foe in their offshoot. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as compelling. This means that they cannot deal with the situation on their own, especially since they are already on the run. Being in the predicament could have motivated them to get the likes of Tim McGee, Abby Ciuto, and even Leroy Jethro Gibbs involved. This would have effectively set the stage for the couple's reunion with any of the aforementioned characters, effectively reviving NCIS best roster. Considering their history with them, any of them would be more than willing to drop everything to help Tony and Ziva in their predicament. DiNozzo's return to the Navy Yard bullpen could have set this up, but that is now unlikely. With the pair getting their mini-team in NCIS, Tony and Ziva reaching out to MCRT and their other contacts in the agency will be reserved for really dire situations. Why McGee and other MCRT characters still need to appear in NCIS, Tony and Ziva. NCIS, Tony and Ziva is the franchise's best chance for a Gibbs team reunion. After the baffling cancellation of NCIS, Hawaii, the franchise's expansion is now more focused on revisiting old characters from the flagship series. While this is great for those who love the earlier seasons of the police procedural, it diminishes the chances of crossovers. While NCIS Origins is set in the past, NCIS Tony and Ziva will live on Paramount Plus, and will have a different feel to it compared to its CBS parent project. At the very least, however, the latter show can bring in familiar faces to Weatherly and DePablo's show to establish its connection to the bigger franchise. Beyond strengthening the evolving universe, there's also a need to see both Tony and Ziva share the screen again with their closest MCRT friends. While both have returned to NCIS since their respective exits, they did so separately, meaning that they haven't gotten together as a trio with McGee. Meanwhile, Tony hasn't even interacted with Gibbs again since Weatherly left NCIS at the end of Season 12. Since there aren't any plans for the whole group to reunite in Navy Yard, this is CBS' best and easiest way to stage their much-clamored reunion.